So let's get right into it. Group A has Argentina, Canada, Chile, and Peru. We have to start the discussion off with the defending champions, Argentina, arriving here, coached once again by Lionel Scaloni, ranked number one in the world after winning the 2022 FIFA World Cup, defeating France in penalties in a crazy, crazy match, and ultimately proving themselves as the best international team in the world. And when it comes to the Copa America, they're joint holders of the most titles as well, with 15 Copa America winners.
Good Lord.
And guess what? They're the defending champions of this tournament as well.
Yeah.
My goodness. They have guys like Messi, Di Maria, McAllister, Garnacho joining the team, Enzo Fernandez, Julian Alvarez, Lautaro Martinez, Rodrigo de Paul, Otamendi, Romero, Emi Martinez. This team is pure grit. This team is pure chemistry. This team is ready to compete for another Copa America. And what's even better is that they're in first place right now of the CONMEBOL World Cup qualifying rankings with 15 points accumulated. They've been by far the best team in CONMEBOL. It's the best team in the world, bro. The best team in the world, and they're in the midst of creating a dynasty.
We almost don't even need to do a preview for Argentina because their team writes itself. They are the best team in the world. They're the reigning world champions, the reigning Copa America champions. And that is a status that most teams never get to feel. 2 titles to their name as reigning champions. Only Spain have recently done that over a decade ago. Yeah. And they actually achieved something great, a 3 title in a row achievement. That's something that's on the plate for Argentina in this tournament. But I mean, dude, you just listed the players that start for Argentina. They're one of the best in their positions, not just in the Americas, but in the world. And when you look at the rest of the squad, it's so stacked. It's so deep. For every starting player, there is a backup ready to come on and make an impact. There's 2 A teams for Argentina, and both teams could honestly probably win this tournament. They are that talented. They are that stacked. We've seen how adaptive Scaloni can be to win a tournament. This team is so well-rounded, bro. It's the perfect blend of aggression, flair, passion, and technique. And then, of course, you have the GOAT. You have the GOAT in Lionel Messi, who's still playing at an incredibly high level. And he's shifted his game so well as he's gotten older. Much more of a playmaker now, but he still has the ability to score off of a set piece, to wriggle between 2 or 3 defenders and somehow get a shot off. He has the vision of some of the best playmakers in the world still. And of course, he still has the technique to pull all of these crazy things off. Argentina is the best team going into this tournament. They're title contenders. And for me, in general, they are my favorites.
They're the favorites. They're the favorites. And just to poke some jokes at him, getting gifted another easy group in a major tournament.
Oh, yeah. God, come on. Argentina can't do it without help, bro. Come on. Some things don't change in this world, bro. And that's one of those things.
It's luck. It's not help. It's luck, all right? It's luck.
Yeah, this is objectively the easiest group in the tournament.
That's why I don't really have much to preview here, because they're going to get first place in this group. And honestly, realistically, looking at their whole path in this tournament, they only really have to get by Ecuador, I believe, in the semifinals, and they're in the final.
Good Lord. If you look at, oh my God, you're right. I didn't even project it afterwards, but you're right.
They play second place of Group B, which will either be like Mexico or Venezuela. Those 2 are definitely going to lose to Argentina in the quarters. Yeah. Ecuador, who will probably top their group in Group B, will face them in the semis. They get past them, they're in a final right away.
Yeah. I think what's more fun to look at when you see this Argentina team is who is going to be the main players in certain positions. There's the age-old debate at this point, Julian Alvarez or Lautaro Martinez.
Yep.
Who's really going to get that starting position? Because at club level, things haven't changed. Alvarez still is the kind of like super sub at Manchester City, and Martinez is the guy, the goal scorer in Serie A. But we saw at the World Cup, it was actually Alvarez who ended up being the better option at the number 9 position. I wonder what's going to happen. I wonder if Scaloni's going to try and tweak it, or if he's going to go with Alvarez first off. That's going to be something to look for. And then also the question is, do you play Enzo Fernandez, considering he's not had not a bad season at Chelsea, but are there better options? I've seen Lo Celso get some playing time.
Mentioned, man.
Definitely. Yeah. I think the other two midfielders have to be De Paul and McAllister for sure. Yeah. McAllister is one of the best playmakers in the world right now, so he immediately gets his position. De Paul's the perfect box-to-box side to cover that offensive prowess that Argentina possess in general. So there's some questions there. Also, who's going to play on the other side of Messi? Is it going to be Nico Gonzalez? Is Lo Celso going to be played out wide? Who's really going to make that position their own? Di Maria is still here, but he's still getting older, right? And I wonder if he'll be able to have any sort of impact as well.
That to me is the biggest question, honestly, about Argentina and what they can do in this tournament is the aging of not just Di Maria, but Leo Messi as well. Both 36 years old now, whereas during the World Cup they were 34. It's a 2-year gap right there that I think makes a big difference. Leo has 12 goals, 9 assists in the MLS right now. He's leading the league in goals and assist contributions.
Damn.
And Di Maria had a good year with Benfica, getting 9 goals and 10 assists. So they still have it. I think in a knockout format tournament, I do think that plays into their age. You just got to go off for 7 games and you get yourself a trophy. But that's something to watch because they were both pivotal in their run during the World Cup. Pivotal, bro. Obviously, Messi makes sense, but Di Maria is just as big in big games as well, scoring in the final. Like, he is such a big game player. I wonder what his impact will look like because many times he's been Argentina's difference maker, the one that gives them the victory like he did in that Copa America final as well. So I want to see how that relationship is dealt with by Scaloni, if he does go with like Nico Gonzalez or somebody else, or ultimately if he just trusts Di Maria the entire tournament.
And I think those questions ultimately get alleviated by the fact that they just already won the World Cup. I think this team ultimately will figure it out because they've already achieved their main objective, which was get Lionel Messi a World Cup title. I remember all of the games leading up to 2022 for a decade. There was always a nervous energy of, could this team and the supporting cast lead Argentina to an actual world title? And they did it. They did it on that famous day a year and a half ago against France in Qatar. Mission actually accomplished. The GOAT got himself the most prized trophy in the world. And so now I really don't see when Argentina played, the question isn't, is this team World Cup ready? That's not the question anymore. The question is, how many goals are we scoring, boys?
Yeah.
Is it 3? Is it 4? Are we going to get ourselves another Copa America? Because at this point, even though there are questions, you already said it, they're top of World Cup qualifying. They're still playing at an incredibly high rate, scoring 2-3 goals a game. Messi, even though he is aging, is still so good. There are questions in this team, but I just think the passion and commitment that every single Argentine player has nowadays, it can make up for so much. It's why I have Argentina still as the sole favorites in this tournament.
Sole favorites, bro. I think I'm going to go as far as saying they're my pick.
They're my pick too.
They're my pick to win it, man, because looking at the World Cup qualifying results too, they've defeated Brazil in Brazil just this past year, bro. Like major results. I think the biggest, not red flag, but the biggest concern maybe is the rise of Uruguay because they were able to get a result on Argentina. I just wonder if in a knockout setting, like in a big final, can they actually defeat this Argentine side who showed time and time again that they can face adversity in big stages and overcome it. I'm going to trust that so far in this tournament, man. I'm going to trust that completely. So I'm going Argentina in this tournament, man. I'm going Argentina, and this easy path that they have to the final, I think only helps them.